YouTube, my name is Mesa Sean, and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Alright folks, I do not even know where to begin with this exotic review because we got a weird one on our hands, folks. We've got a new exotic machine gun called the Xenophage, and it doesn't really feel or act like a machine gun. It kind of feels like I'm going to say it feels like a sniper. Look at that impact and range. It feels like a sniper. It kind of feels like a hip-fire explosive round shotgun at close quarters. It feels like it does a lot of damage, but when you look at the numbers, doesn't really do a whole lot of damage. And then we're going to look at something that no one else ever looks at, and that's going to be the fun factor. Because we live in a weird age when it comes to doing Destiny 2 content. Unless you can, everything's about DPS, right? Unless you're using the max DPS weapons and the ultimate loadout and can one-phase a boss and one man or two men an entire raid encounter, you're considered a scrub. Well, we're gonna factor fun in here. Is this weapon fun? Does it do some decent things? Does it have some decent DPS? Would you want to use it for certain occasions? You don't always have to use the best weapons in a game, guys. Try having some fun here and there. Sorry, I'm getting a little smarmy there. Let's get into this review. And if you enjoy this video, a like rating really does help me out, and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. All right, so looking across, well, we don't really get much in terms of what the main perk is called, which is pyrotoxin rounds, which I thought we'd probably get a whole paragraph on what this is. But it says fires high-powered explosive ammunition. And from there, we've got good old full bore. Then we've got high-caliber rounds, because you're going to stagger some things. We've got rangefinder, and we have composite stock. Now, when we look at the actual stats, we have an impact of 100, okay? You have maximum impact with this thing. Insane impact. Range is ridiculous. 71. From what I found, they're pretty much, or it felt like, there was really no range drop-off whatsoever. Stability, handling, and reload are terrible, and it fires 120 rounds per minute, and in the magazine, you get 20, but, man, ammo is scarce for this thing, even when you put on scavenger perks, and I think they're going to have to buff the amount of ammo that you put on this thing. So, first off, I'm playing on PC, but yeah, I use a controller. Once again, makes me a scrub, right? I'm on PC with a controller. And it does a lot of damage, but I don't know if I would use this over my Swarm of the Raven, or even, I got a really good roll on the Love and Death from actually the dungeon drops Eris Morn's Moon Weapons, if you didn't know. And I actually got the Pulse Rifle yesterday with Headseeker and also Outlaw. I'm trying to get a better roll in it. But we will go and test and get some raw numbers over in the Tribute Hall, and then also in some PvP. Now, PvP, it looks like you probably can have some fun with this thing. So, first off, I'm just hip firing. Aiming down sight, the stability on this thing is absolutely atrocious, okay? So unless you're using a keyboard, well, which you have no recoil, then you're fine. But I would say if you're using a controller, just hip fire the thing. And there really is no range drop off, or at least I didn't see any. Now, one of the interesting things is, okay, so you have explosive ammunition, and well, that's what it is. When you have a number of ads clumped up, and let's say you tether them, or they're just whatever, depending on what activity you're doing, you're going to see a whole bunch of numbers because multiple enemies will be getting hit by that explosive ammunition that you shot. Now, the thing is full auto, but I would not fire it full auto. I would just press the trigger every time you want to shoot this weapon. To be effective with this weapon, you 100% need 2 mods in your inventory. And of course, I'm missing one of them. Both are ARC mods. You're going to need a helmet mod, machine gun ammo finder, and then you're going to need machine gun scavenger. Now, you could use destinysets.com, and they've got a mods beta tab where you can log in and check which mods you have and which ones you don't have, but then also you can go into your collections and look. But I feel like Destiny Sets just breaks it down by all the elements. It's like a colored chart and everything. I love that site. Great site. Check it out. I will link it in the description. And Josh Hunt, who put it together, he's the one that created that masterpiece. Now, one thing about this weapon is you will not see crits, okay? You can't crit with this weapon by just shooting them. However, if you put a debuff on the enemy, yeah, you could crit them. As I mentioned before, you could shoot on the floor near a number of enemies, and you'll do some decent damage to them. Let's go over to Tribute Hall and have some fun with one of the big ogres and try some debuffs and see what kind of damage numbers. And then we're going to go into PvP in a private match, and you're going to see some pretty funny results in PvP. Let's do it. Now we're in the Tribute Hall, and we're going to start messing around with this ogre here. Now, for each shot, I get 8,646 damage. Now, remember, no crits, so no matter where you shoot him, if you shoot him in the feet, if you shoot him in the arms, the crit spot that you normally would use a Whisper of the Worm or a sniper or something with, you're going to see the same damage. And without any buffs whatsoever, it took 13 shots to kill that ogre. Now, a shout out to 2 channel members, Agent Wolf and Unit. He's going to debuff him with Divinity. Now each shot is going to do 11,240, and you could see the ogre went down considerably faster. Now with Divinity, it took me 6 shots, not 13, so it kind of cut it in half. And man, I love Divinity. I know some of you guys make fun of me when we kill the Consecrated Mine and the Sanctified Mine in the raid. I'm Divinity guy. I'm just laying my Divinity on the bosses, but that's there to ensure that no one misses their crit shots, and I'll do some damage myself, but not much. But it's really there to just make sure everyone will land their crit shots, because not all of us have amazing aim like you guys out there, right? Next up, my friend has Oppressive Darkness on his class item, and he throws a Void Grenade to weaken this ogre. So you could see a little Divinity action there, and wow, my numbers go up to 14, almost 15,000, almost 19,000 by the end, and he died really quickly. So quick conclusion here, from base damage of 8,000 all the way up to 19,000 by using Divinity for debuff, but then also a Void Grenade with Oppressive Darkness. Well, it's starting to show you that, okay, this thing by itself, it's not that great, but once you start adding some debuffs, then it becomes a lot better. Now, being a numbers DPS noobs guy, why did it go from 14,000 and then the final shots were like 19,000? Was it because of Divinity's other perk, Penance, where targets under the effects of Judgment long enough are struck with a burst of damage? I don't know. School me in the comment section, because I don't know. So now we're going to have some Well of Radiance action, and if we had a Titan, just tack on 5% to the numbers we're going to look at now. So remember, I was doing 8,000 normally. So, okay, now we're seeing 10,000. Not a big deal. We're going to throw a grenade on him and add the weaken effect with Oppressive Darkness, and we're going to see some much higher numbers. There we go, 14,000s, 18,000s, 19,000 at one point, but yeah, not that much higher. I would have thought the Well of Radiance and the Oppressive Darkness would have pushed us over 20,000. Am I missing something here, guys? But you're still having that problem, whether you're using it in any activities, is to, you got to carefully decide when you want to use it, because you are always going to be out of ammo, regardless if you're running scavenger perks or heavyweight is on for, let's say, the Vanguard strikes. I think Bungie, more than likely predicting this now, if they can't buff this thing, which there's nothing you could do about it, you have to use this thing with something like Oppressive Darkness, a Titan Ward of Dawn bubble, maybe a Well of Radiance, and even then the Well of Radiance was not that great. You got to buff them with Oppressive Darkness and Divinity to do some real damage with this thing. But they're going to have to buff the amount of ammo this thing either carries, takes, or that you pick up. I thought this thing might have like an intrinsic perk, kind of like how Divinity has Disruption on it and how Ariana's Vow has built-in shield-piercing rounds. And yeah, this thing does have high-caliber rounds and will knock targets back. And with the Pyrotoxin rounds, you will see that, but I don't know. I'm going to say it's a situational and a fun gun, but I think it will be more fun when they actually buff the amount of ammo that you can carry and find with this thing. In PvP, you're not going to have much ammo with this thing, which makes sense because this thing is very lethal. It's a 2-shot kill to Guardians and a 3-shot kill to someone in their super. I'll show you some footage of my friend here, Unit, in his Spectral Blade. Now, as this does fire high-powered explosive ammunition, you do have kind of an area of effect, that's redundant, where you could shoot the floor, a wall, somewhere near 2 Guardians, and you'll cause some damage to both of them. And if 2 Guardians are next to each other, I'll show you some footage, you'll waste both Guardians by just killing one of them from the area of effect. And here's an example. So I'm specifically going to just hip fire Agent Wolf, and I land 2 shots, and both of them go down because they both got 150 damage per shot. Now here's where it gets silly. Now I'm going to shoot the wall in between them, and they're both going to go, well, to near half dead. And if I fire 2 shots to that wall, they're going to die. I'm going to show you that right now. Now, I don't have a ruler in front of me or anything, but they're not exactly clumped up right here. They're kind of spaced out a little bit. I'm going to shoot 2 shots in the middle, And the area of effect, the explosion, yeah, it killed them both. When Guardians are in their super, or this Warlock in his Well of Dawn, Agent Wolf here, it's going to be a 3-shot kill. So overall, guys, I'm going to say the weapon is fun. Is it the ultimate DPS machine? No. Should you treat it like a machine gun? No, you should. I'm going to recommend hip fire and fire it like a scout rifle, or kind of treat it like a shotgun fusion, meaning hip firing it and kind of hitting things up close. If you want to aim down sight, there's going to be no range drop off. This thing has ridiculous range, and the impact is insanity on this thing. But you got to get debuffs. Or at least for PvE activities, they need to be debuffed with like Divinity or Oppressive Darkness Void Grenades, and that's pretty much my review, guys. So I think it's a fun gun, but I think Bungie, all they got to do is just change the ammo economy with this thing, and I think we'll be fine. So you guys let me know if you've gotten this weapon, what you think in the comments section. I'll leave Dado's quest line, the video to the full quest in the description. The quest wasn't hard, except for one part was a nightmare, where you're in the dungeon and everything is 980 or 970, and that's where it gets a little dicey. Some elements get changed, and yeah, it was a little challenging, but it's still totally doable, and I think the dungeon's amazing. And if you want a full guide on the dungeon, way more professional than this video, click the link in the description or pinned comment. All right, guys, let me hashtag made it to the end if you did make it to the end. If you'd like to further support this channel and become a channel member, click the link in the description or join on screen. We've got an awesome community over on Discord with channel members. We've got a Mesa Army clan as a little bonus if you're looking for a clan, and we've just filled up our 3rd regiment, probably moving on to a 4th soon. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention. Yeah, there is no damage to yourself with this thing. Like, watch my channel members, Agent Wolf and Unit. I'm going to go up to them, I'm going to shoot on the floor as if I was trying to shoot myself, and I kill both of them, and I still live. So that's a pretty interesting feature, is that you're immune to those explosive rounds or explosive ammunition, and yeah, that's it. All right, guys, I'm babbling because it's the end of the video. Let me hashtag made it to the end and drop a like in this video only if you see fit, and follow me on Twitter at Mesa Sean. Check out my stream, usually and always on YouTube, and that's it. I'm out of here like Vladimir.